With regard to the impact study, I just find it, I can't actually even get my mind around the fact that we would not want to do our fiduciary responsibility and just ask for even frontline economic impacts for our local community. We have no idea, nor will our voters, what the economic impacts would be. So we're basically going to roll the dice, tell them to vote for something, and then find out after the fact. To not do this, to me, is an absolute abdication of our legal and fiduciary responsibility. I am just appalled by the absolute desire, either on this dais or by the proponents of this measure, to limit information as much as possible, to limit discussion as much as possible. This has truly been a campaign of deception. The fact is, I heard directly from residents whose doors were knocked on, and in every single instance, every single one, and quite frankly, proven it every single time this has been heard in a public setting, every single speaker who came up here tonight, it was sold to those who signed as a measure to make Disney pay its fair share. When if one read of this language shows that it affects small businesses on a far greater scale than it affects Disney or any of the hoteliers that would receive a subsidy. And we have zero understanding of how far and wide it would affect small businesses in this city. That is unreal that you would absolutely put all of that under a bushel. This is not just about Disney. This is not just about a handful of hotels. This is about every single business in any subsidized area within the resort, which is the entirety of the resort, that is a business, an affiliate, a lessee, a lessor, or an affiliate undefined of any of those. So if you're not in the resort but you're affiliated, have some kind of contractual arrangement, your employees could potentially petition for this wage. So let's at least be clear that we are not talking about one company or 4 companies. We are talking about hundreds of companies. And we have zero understanding as representatives of this city what it would do for the economy, and we don't feel we have an obligation to even do a cursory review of the economics of that. It's appalling. It's appalling that every single person selling this measure, I don't know if you've deluded yourselves or you just want to delude everyone else that this is solely about Disney. Let's be honest. You wrote it. The proponents of this who wrote it made it very clear you wanted it as broad as humanly possible, or you would have restricted it to those who are receiving direct subsidies, but you didn't. So I at least want us to start with facts. I want our residents to be armed with the data. If they choose to support it having all of the facts, they're entitled to do so. But let's not hide them. Let's not make it up and dress it up to be something it isn't, and then pretend we're all flabbergasted when it becomes far broader than we ever expected. I'm not going to do something that would decimate small business in the city. I'm certainly not going to do it on the fly from the dais because thousands of people were told that this solely impacts one company. We heard it every single time from every single person who spoke to a T that they sold this as purely about Disney tonight. Disney deserves to pay its fair share. Disney should pay its fair share. As if Disney, by the way, hasn't already offered Unite Here $15 an hour. Let's be honest about that. Oh, that is not lies. Let's have that discussion. Let's have that investigation. So the fact is, this is about implementing something far broader. And those who are selling it under the guise that it affects one company don't even want it to go to the voters. They want us to circumvent the voters. I'm at least pleased to hear that the council believes the voters have a say, especially when less than 2% of all employees at Disney live in this city, and not all of those are entry-level workers. So we're going to implement something that would be this massive and affect less than 2% of our residents?